so for today's video I thought we'd do this like red, very bright cut crease and then maybe some like heart freckle kind of thing. I don't know, but you'll see from the thumbnail anyway what look I'm trying to get, because I can never name these things. I'm just like, yeah, hearts, red, done. So I've already filled in my eyebrows because it's boring, no one really wants to see it, and they're not even at a minute. This one's longer than this one. It's a whole big thing. Obviously lighting's different as well because I've got a ring light on because it is basically raining outside, which makes it very dark. So hopefully that's not too bright and it's not too weird. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to highlight the brow bone. So I need to grab my products first. So I'm going to take the Colourpop. So this is the Super Shock Cheek. So this is in Spoon and this is very glittery. Yeah, you can definitely see, I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but there's definitely sparkles in it. It's like got pink, green and sort of silver. So yeah, it's not my favourite out of the bunch, but it's still really, really pretty regardless. Obviously depending on what look you sort of want. Obviously if you're just going about your day-to-day life, then you don't want, well, I personally wouldn't want highlighter and glitter mixed, just no. So I'm just going to take that on the Spectrum A13 and just put that underneath the brow. Then to prime the eyelids, I'm going to take the Nars. So this is the Pro Prime Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. She's very beat up. She's been a long time user of on and off this thing. This is probably well out of date, but we're going to use it anyway. I'm just going to blend that out with my fingers. I've noticed that my eyelids are like super oily lately. And it's just like everything seems to be creasing on it. Like I put down a pink eyeshadow the other day, blinked, and it was like crease. I was like, great. So I'm trying to avoid like really sort of heavy creamy concealers, which I was using. Like I was using the Makeup Revolution one, which was really nice, but it was just wasn't sitting right. Like just was not having it. And then for palettes today, I'm going to take the Certifeye palette. So this is the Infinity palette and it just looks like so. It is a beautiful array of colours. I've done some looks recently using like the yellows and pinks. It is a truly gorgeous palette. So I'm going to start off by mixing these two shades right here on a Sigma E36 blending brush. Taking more of the red rather than the sort of dark burnt red. Just going to put that on the outer corner, so just blending that through. By the way, my eyelids are stained from pink. Yeah, I was using pink yesterday and it hasn't come off. So I'm just taking that, like I said, on the outer corner, and I'm going to take it through the crease, well, the socket as well. Just doing little circular motions. Just going to blend that out a little bit. So I'm going to take the Crown Brush C429, and it's just a duo fibre blending brush, and I'm just going to sort of buff out the edges slightly. So I'm keeping it more rounded sort of here, but I do like a little bit of blown out just because that's what I prefer in my eyeshadows. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean my brush in the colour switch because I'm going to go ahead and use it again for the other shades. So I'm just making sure that there's none of that really red shade on there. And then we're going to take this shade next to it and then a little bit of this one right here as well. So I've just taken that on the same Sigma brush. I'm going to really dip into that like burnt orange shade. And just a little bit of that sort of more muted red. And then we're going to take that around the top of it. So just going at the sides and through the top. Obviously the orange shade you do get a lot of fallout. But I mean, they're so beautiful that it's actually worth the fallout. And I don't know, fallout never really bothers me. Like, it might bother some people. Obviously, if you do face before eyes, then it will. But I always do eyes before face. I rarely ever do face before eyes. Then I'm going to mix a little bit of that really, really bright orange in, but just a small amount. Just because, obviously, I want it to stay quite red. I love red eyeshadow. I know a lot of people, they're either scared, I think people are either scared of red or black, but I love red. I feel like, especially with blue eyes, it really brings out the colour in them. Obviously copper will as well, like I love a copper look, but reds are just one of those things I just love. Just further blending that out with the crown brush again. Okay, so now we're just going to clean up some of the lid space, just so when we mix the white or the concealer in, it doesn't sort of like mix and go a funny orange. So I'm literally taking micellar water, a cotton bud, and we're just going to remove majority of it. Obviously some of it, because I don't really know where to cut my crease to, so I just sort of take away what I sort of know. We're doing more than half a cut crease as well, so it's probably going to be extended quite far out. Okay, so now we're going to actually cut the crease. So I'm going to take the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. So this is in N-Light 1, and this is what I use when I sort of self-tan. So I just take a dot on the back of the hand, and then I go in with the Peaches and Cream. So this is a PC51 brush. I absolutely love this for cutting the crease. It's just this nice, really squashed flat brush. I think they recommend it to apply glitter, but honestly, like, it's so good for cutting the crease. And it's just, even though I've got small eyelids, like it still fits perfect. Like you can get in to all the corners and just really pack it on. So I just take a little bit of that and look up. And then where this line sits is where we're going to cut our crease to. So what I like to do is I almost like to it's like you stamp the line in. So it's like you almost just push a line. It kind of just does that. And this brush makes it super easy to do that as well. And then when I get to like the end, I just sort of take the brush, almost drag the product down, just so it sort of finishes it off. Obviously we'll go ahead and blend and that line will be fixed, but that's how I sort of just finish it. And then what I like to do is I like to take a flat brush. So this is from Coma Cosmetics, so it comes in a little collection. It is so beautiful. I'll link their website down below so you can go and check them out. They're a little indie brand. And then I just like to pack it out, just so the wetness doesn't sort of crease, it doesn't budge. I just want that to be nice and matte, and this is the perfect concealer for that. I love this concealer, it's like my top tier concealer. So yeah. So now to blend, I'm just going to take the crown brush, so this is the C528, and I just sort of pull the concealer over to like the red, and then I'll pull the red over to the concealer, and it's just like this back and forth till I get what I want, and then we can go ahead, add a bit of glitter on, and then do some more blending. See how it doesn't look so harsh, but obviously some of the red has got in with the white, but we're not going to leave it like this. We're going to add a pigment. So this is from Sample Beauty, and this is in the shade Angelic, and it's so like awkward to show you because when I lift it up, obviously it's all just going to sort of pour out, but it's just basically a gorgeous white silvery pigment. Obviously you'll see what it looks like when I pack it on the lids. But first of all, I'm just going to take the NYX Glitter Primer, and I'm just going to place that on with a Spectrum A16. I'm just putting that on top of the concealer. So when I get to like the top line, I like to take a Real Techniques fine liner brush, just so I can really get in the little details and keep it as crisp as I can. Obviously you can just take a brush, but this is something I like to do. And then we're going to pack on the shade with the A16. And then when I get to the top again, I just take the Real Techniques fine liner brush. Just go ahead and just add in those little details. She's sparkly. So I'm just going to take that crown brush and just sort of pull the colour over, because obviously at the minute it looks well, choppy. So I'm just going to sort of drag it over. Obviously we will get some of the glitter sort of flake off, but I'm just sort of going and push whatever back on and stuff. I can also take the Spectrum brush that I use and just sort of, I'll take the tip and just flick it through almost. Just so we can sort of pull that colour over. Okay, so off camera I'm going to finish off this eye, clean away the mess, apply lashes and mascara. So mascara, I'm using the KVD Go Big or Go Home. I've said lots of times now, she no longer owns it, so I'm happy to use her brand. And then I'm going to take these lashes. So these are from Certifeye, and these are in the style Oriris? Osiris? They look like this. They're super cute. And yeah, I haven't tried these out yet. I love the Love Struck ones. They're like one of my favourite pair, but they're a little bit beat up. I need to get some new ones. So I'm going to apply those off camera, come back, and then we'll move on to the base. Okay, so lashes are on, and I had to use different lash glue, and the lash glue that I used I don't like. It literally took me like half an hour to get one lash on, and I don't think they're even, and I even pinched my eye with tweezers and it was so painful. But we're here now and we're kind of looking even. So I'm going to move on to base. So I'm going to take the Nip and Fab Rose Gold Essence. Obviously I've still got loads of glitter on my face. I just can't get it off. I've tried to wipe it away. I've tried to do everything. It's there. It's staying there. So I'm going to put that on an elf stippling brush and then just buff that into the skin. I forgot to tell you, by the way, I actually applied this eye with no glitter primer and it looked so much better. Like sometimes pigments, they can mix weird when something's wet. So I just sort of removed majority of this and stuck it down literally just over concealer, and I feel like it just looks so much different. It looks so much more sparkly. It just looks different, and I just, yeah, I prefer the way it looked. So that's what I went ahead and done as well. Then for foundation today, I'm going to take the Hourglass. So this is the Illusion Hyaluronic Skin Tint. So this is in the shade Shell, and I don't really love this colour on me because it's more neutral, and I've said before I prefer more warm. I just feel like pink sort of, I don't know, like it makes me look grey almost, and I just don't like how pink ever looks. But this is like a full coverage skin tint and it is really, really pretty. So obviously I'm just going to use it today. I'm going to take that on the Spectrum B01, and like it is hella thick, so yeah, it is definitely full coverage. I've done a review like ages ago. If I find it, I'll link in a little eye if you wanted to see a full review. But yeah, I just don't love the colour of this. That's why I don't typically use it a lot. But it is super beautiful. So I'm just going to blend that in with Spectrum B01. Then I'm going to take the Hourglass concealer. So this is the Vanish, I think it's like the Vanish Seamless Concealer. It just says Vanish on it. I know like it's part of their Vanish range. So this is in the shade Birch, and this is very, very light. But I don't particularly hate it this bright. It all just depends on my mood. But I feel like with this concealer, this foundation I've got on, it's going to blend in well. So just taking that on the under eyes, forehead, nose, a little bit on the cupid's bow, and then a dot on the chin. Yeah, like I feel like it's too pink. Like it's not, maybe I'm just like imagining things, but I feel like it matches my face, but then as soon as it goes to my neck, like I feel like my neck and my chest is more yellow. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm not yellow at all, but I just feel like it is more yellow, and I feel like I'm pink in the face because I have like a lot of redness. But yeah, it's just, yeah, it just looks so odd to me. So I'm just going to let that dry for a bit before I blend it out. So I'm going to use the Hourglass Seamless brush just to blend it out, but obviously I'm just going to wait a little while. Okay, so now I'm just going to blend that through. Then to set it, I'm going to take the Hourglass. So this is the Val Translucent Setting Powder, and you've got to sort of give it a good spank to get it out. And then I'm just going to take that on a Crown Brush C5 30. I'm just going to load up my brush, make sure it's nice and blended. Just put that on the under eyes. And just take that down the T-zone. just a little bit, because I'm going to go and set the face with a different powder. Then to set the rest of my face, I'm going to take the Jouer. So this is the Soft Focus Hydrate and Set Powder. So this is in light. And I'm going to take that on another Kima Cosmetic brush. It's just this nice fluffy brush. So I'm just going to load up my brush with it. And then dust that around the rest of the face. Then to bronze up the face, I'm going to go into the Benefit. So this is the Cheekathon palette. It's just one big giant palette. You can get all of these products still. It's just it was cheaper to buy it like this than it was to buy them individually. I think they still make these, but maybe not this one. But obviously go and have a look online if you're interested. I'm just going to take Holla from the palette, and I'm going to take that on a Crown Brush Spectrum, sorry, CO7, and just bronze up the face. So just around the forehead and cheeks. Then I'm going to go back into the Colourpop highlighter. So I probably should have used this before powder, because this is almost like, it's weird, it's like a putty sort of highlighter, but we should be okay, I hope. So I'm just going to take that on my finger and just tap that on the tops of the cheeks. Then on a Spectrum A12, I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on the inner corners. Take a little bit down the nose as well. Then for blush, I'm going to go into the Rockature blush, which is also in the palette, and I'm just going to take that on the same Spectrum CO7 and just add a little bit of blush to the cheeks. So I'm just going to finish off the lower lash line. So I'm going to mix these two shades again from the palette and just run that along the lower lash line. Then just blend that out with the Crown Brush. So we're making sure that it's really blended into this outer corner colour. So I have taken it quite low, but we are going to add a little bit of that orange as well. Now just going into the, let's take like a mixture of these two on that same Sigma brush, and we're just going to add that underneath the lower lash line as well. Then just finish it up with some lower lash mascara, so the Cat one or the KVD one or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to apply that to the lower lashes, but you're going to see none of this. You're literally going to see the top of my head. Then I'm just going to take a bit of the Revolution Hyaluronic Essence Spray and just spray this on. And don't talk while you do it. So I'm going to take this. So this is from Wet n Wild, and this is in the shade Nudist Peach. It's their Mega Last Liquid Catsuit. I've applied a little bit to the lips just to see if it worked, but I love a peach lip. Just going to take my finger and just sort of blot it. Then for gloss, I'm just going to add a teensy bit of the Fenty gloss. So this is the Fenty Bomb in, no, Fenty Bomb, the Gloss Bomb in Glass Slipper. I'm thinking Fenty Glow and my head's getting mixed up. I'm literally going to take like a dot of this, just sort of in the centre of the lips. Okay, so I've just tested one out just to make sure that it was perfectly okay, and also the camera wasn't recording, so so what I've done was I was going to use a bit of the glitter, so you can see like I tried to do it on this one here, but it's not pigmented enough or like opaque enough to really go in heavy with it. So I just went into the Certifeye palette and I literally took this Ready Orangey shade, just so if it went wrong I could sort of remove it and it wasn't too red. But I love how it looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place reds on all of them, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glitter on top of some of them. I was going to do all of them, but because I peeled the heart off on this, I don't want to go ahead and add glitter and then it's a whole big thing, it's like ruined. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm taking that on the Sigma E36 blending brush and just like pushing it in. So now I'm just going to go back into the pigment and add that on a few. So just sort of dabbing it on top. Tell you what, sorry, let's do it on all of them. Just to make them all glittery, because we love glitter in this house. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So now I'm just going to lick off all the hearts. So I'm just using tweezers. So I'm going to be super careful not to scratch my skin. And then we have these. I think it's super cute. It's just something a little bit fun. Obviously you could completely change the colours with this. That's why I think I went for like the silver over the lid, because you can use pink, purple, blue, whatever you wanted to, and it would go really well. I love the little heart thing, it's just super pretty. Obviously we're past Valentine's Day, but I actually just could not give a fuck. I want to use hearts and I'm going to use hearts. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to go and eat lunch now.